My husband suggested something so wild. That night something I never imagined I'd consider, let alone agree to, wanted me to be intimate with 3 other men, and to my surprise, I couldn't resist the idea. You won't believe what happened next as the night unfolded in ways none of us saw coming. It all started on a sultry summer evening. Just come home from work exhausted from the day's demands when I found my husband Aiden already sitting in the living room with a glass of whiskey in hand. His eyes locked onto mine with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. There was something different about him tonight. An unfamiliar energy that crackled in the air as I settled beside him. I could feel his gaze lingering on me, studying my every move. "How was work?" he asked, his voice unusually soft, almost seductive. I shrugged, letting out a tired sigh, the usual, just long and tiring. But Aiden wasn't really listening. Instead, he placed his hand gently on my thigh, his touch sending a wave of warmth through me. I was accustomed to his affection, but tonight there was a different quality to it. Charged energy that made my heart race. His fingers trailed slowly up my leg, and I turned to meet his gaze. Pulse quickening, his eyes held a hunger, a desire that felt both exciting and unnerving. "I've been thinking," he began, leaning closer, his voice barely a whisper, "about us, about what we need." Words sent a tremor through me, and I shifted in my seat, unsure where this was leading. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice trembling slightly. Aiden smiled, his hand moving higher, his breath warm against my ear. "I think we need something different," Amelia whispered. "Something to spice things up." Between I swallowed hard. A knot forming in my stomach. "Spice things up?" I repeated, my mind scrambling to catch up. He nodded, his lips brushing against my neck, sending shivers down my spine. "I want to see you with other men," he murmured, his words exploding like a bombshell in the quiet room. For a moment, I was speechless, my mind reeling from the sheer audacity of his suggestion. I pulled back, searching his face for any sign of hesitation or regret, but all I found was a raw, unfiltered desire. "You want to see me with other men?" I echoed, my voice barely above a whisper. Aiden nodded, his eyes dark with yes. He breathed, "But not just any men. I want you to be with 3 strong, handsome black men. I want to see you lose yourself in their arms and feel their touch." Something wild. My mind raced. I had never imagined such a scenario, never considered that Aiden would even entertain the idea of sharing me with anyone else. But as I looked into his eyes, I saw the excitement there, the thrill of the forbidden, and strangely, a part of me felt intrigued. A spark of curiosity ignited within me, is a desire to explore the uncharted territory of my own sensuality. I shifted uncomfortably, my body betraying me as a wave of heat washed over me. I shifted uncomfortably. "I don't know, Aiden," I stammered, unsure how to respond. He reached for my hand, squeezing it gently. "I know it sounds crazy, Amelia," he said, his voice was soothing, "but I promise you'll be incredible. You'll love it. And I'll be right there watching you, admiring you. There's nothing to be afraid of." His words washed over me, and I found myself considering the impossible. Could I really do this? Could I really be with 3 other men while my husband watched? The idea was taboo, forbidden. Yet it ignited a flame within me, a yearning for something new, something wild, something that would shatter the boundaries of my carefully constructed life. "Okay?" whispered the word, barely audible, yet it echoed in the charged silence of the room. I surprised myself with the ease with which I surrendered to the unknown. Aiden's eyes lit up with excitement, and he leaned in to kiss me, his lips soft and warm against mine. "You won't regret this, Amelia," he promised, his voice husky with anticipation. The days leading up to the night Aiden had planned were a whirlwind of emotions and excitement, battled with nervousness and anticipation. Weird with apprehension every time I thought about what was to come. My stomach fluttered. With a mixture of anxiety and desire, I tried to maintain my usual routine, but the anticipation lingered, a constant hum beneath the surface of my everyday life, teasing me with the possibilities. Finally, the night arrived, and Aiden had arranged everything meticulously, planning every detail. The men he had chosen were already waiting for us at the hotel. Their presence added to the electric atmosphere. As we walked into the room, my palms were damp with nerves, but the sight of them, all 3 of them, standing there with confidence, ardent smiles, and smoldering gazes sent a thrill through. They were tall, with broad shoulders, and skin the color of polished ebony, Each one exuded an aura of power and masculinity, their eyes undressing me with a hunger that made my breath catch in my throat. I felt exposed and vulnerable, yet strangely empowered. Marcus stood beside me, his hand on the small of my back, guiding me forward. "Don't be shy, Bella," he whispered in my ear, laced with excitement. "This is for you. Want you to enjoy." I glanced up at him, my heart pounding, and saw the raw desire in his eyes. Wanted this. He wanted to see me with these men, and as nervous as I was, I couldn't deny the spark of excitement that ignited within me slowly. I stepped forward, my body trembling with anticipation. The men watched me, their eyes dark with desire, and as I moved closer, the tension in the room thickened, becoming almost palpable. I was standing on the precipice of something new, something exhilarating, and I was ready to take the plunge. The first man reached out his hand, brushing against my arm, sending a jolt of electricity through my body. His touch was firm yet gentle, and I found myself leaning into his breath, the kiss hitching as his finger trailed up my arm, leaving a trail of goosebumps in their wake. His eyes met mine, and I saw a reflection of my own desire in their depths before I knew it. His lips were on mine, soft and warm, and the kiss started, gently then deepened, becoming more insistent as he pulled me closer. Heart raced as I melted into him, his strong arms wrapping around me and holding me tight. I could feel the heat radiating from his body, his muscles flexing beneath my hands as I explored the contours of his chest behind me. I could feel Aiden watching, his gaze burning into my skin. I glanced over my shoulder, catching his eye, and the look on his face sent a rush of excitement through me. He wanted this. He wanted to see me like this, lost in the embrace of another. The second man stepped forward, his hands sliding around my waist, pressing his body against mine from behind. I could feel the heat of his breath on my neck, his lips brushing against my skin as he whispered sweet nothings in my ear, and my body trembled with desire, mind spinning with the intensity of it. I had never experienced anything like this before. This overwhelming sensation of being desired by not one but three men was intoxicating, and I could feel myself surrendering to the moment, my body responding to their every touch and every kiss. Aiden's voice broke through the haze of desire that had clouded my mind. "You're beautiful, Amelia," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "I love seeing you." Like these words sent a surge of confidence through me, and I turned my attention back to the men before me. Their touches became more insistent, their bodies enveloping me in a cocoon of warmth and desire. Was lost in a sea of sensations, adrift in a world where boundaries blurred and inhibitions faded. I hadn't realized how much I craved this kind of attention, this raw, unfiltered desire. My breath quickened as their hands explored my body with each touch, sending a ripple of sensation through. For me, there was a strange sense of empowerment in being the center of their attention, to the object of their collective desire. The man in front of me pressed his hand to the small of my back, pulling me closer until our bodies were flush against each other. I could feel every inch of him hard and ready, his breath coming in hot. I could feel the urgency in his touch, the way his hands gripped my hips as if he couldn't get enough. Behind me, the second man's hand slid up my sides, his fingers tracing the curve of my waist before moving higher, cupping my breasts through the thin fabric of dress. His touch was firm, commanding, and I gasped as his thumbs brushed over my nipples, sending a jolt of pleasure straight to my core. I could feel the tension coiling inside me, a tight knot of desire that wound tighter with every passing second. Aiden was still there watching. Everything unfolded, his presence as a steady anchor. Even as I felt myself slipping into the intoxicating pull of the moment, his eyes were locked on mine, and I could see the raw hunger in his gaze at the way he was enjoying this just as much as I was. He wasn't just a spectator. He was an integral part of this electrifying connection that was building between me and these men. "So beautiful, Amelia," the third man whispered, his voice low and smooth as he stepped closer, his fingers trailing down my arm in a slow, deliberate caress. "I've been waiting to touch you, to feel how soft your skin is." I shivered at his words, my body responding instinctively to his touch. I leaned back into him as his arms wrapped around my waist from behind. The way they touched me, the way they handled me, it was as if the second kiss had claimed me completely, and I found myself sinking into the sensation, Surrendering to its overwhelming intensity, every inch of my skin was alive, tingling with pleasure as their hands roamed freely over my body. The man behind me gently nipped at my neck, his teeth grazing the sensitive skin as his hands moved lower, sliding over my hips before coming to rest on my thighs. I gasped as his fingers slipped beneath the hem of my dress, teasing the bare skin of my legs. I could feel the heat pooling between my thighs, the ache of desire becoming almost unbearable. "Do you like Amelia?" the man in front of me murmured against my skin, his voice dark and seductive caress. "Tell us how it feels." "I love it," I whispered, my voice trembling with the weight of my own desire. I've never felt anything like this before. And it was true. This was unlike anything I had ever experienced. An intensity and a rawness that I hadn't known. I was missing the way they touched me, and the way they made me feel. It was as if they were unlocking something deep inside me, primal and untamed. He smiled, his hand sliding up my back to tangle in my hair as he pulled me in for another kiss. This time it was slower, more deliberate, his lips moving against mine with a teasing gentleness that contrasted sharply with the hunger I felt building inside. His free hand cued my face, his thumb stroking my cheek as he deepened the kiss, and I moaned softly into his mouth, lost in the sensation behind me. The second man's fingers were still teasing the skin of my thighs, inching closer to where I wanted him but never quite giving me what I craved. My breath came out in ragged. The third kiss gasped as he teased me, drawing out the moment and building the tension until it was almost unbearable. "Please," I whispered, my voice barely audible but filled with a raw need that shocked even me. The third man, silent until now, leaned in, his lips finding the sensitive skin of my neck. He nibbled and kissed, his teeth grazing my skin, sending shivers of pleasure down my spine. His hands explored my body with a confident touch, leaving a trail of goosebumps in their wake. I was caught in a whirlwind of sensations in my responding to their every touch, whispered word. Their combined attention was intoxicating, and I reveled in the feeling of being desired with such intensity. Aiden's presence was a constant reassurance, his eyes locked on mine, mirroring the desire I felt. He was enjoying this just as much as I was, his excitement fueling my own tension within me coiled tighter and tighter, the anticipation building with every passing moment. I was on the verge of surrendering completely, to letting go and allowing myself to be consumed by the raw primal pleasure that pulsed through my veins. "Please don't stop," begged my voice, a breathless plea. The man chuckled, his breath warm against my skin as he pressed a soft kiss to my shoulder. "We are not going to stop, Amelia," he promised, his voice a low growl that vibrated through me. "We're just getting started." The knot of desire within me tightened, the anticipation becoming almost unbearable. My body trembled, caught between the overwhelming need for release and the exquisite torture of the weight. The man in front of me captured my lips one last time, his dark eyes locking onto mine as he pulled away. "You're incredible," he murmured, his voice thick with admiration. "I can't wait to see how you feel." With a swift, practiced movement, slipped the straps of my dress from my shoulders, the fabric pooling at my feet like a discarded dream. I stood exposed, vulnerable yet strangely empowered. Their gazes filled with unbridled desire made me feel beautiful, desirable, alive. Aiden's eyes burned into me, his gaze filled with a mixture of pride and lust for his approval fueled my own desire, pushing me further into the uncharted territory of my sensuality. The second man stepped closer, his hands on my waist, guiding me towards the bed. "Lie down, Amelia," he whispered, his voice a gentle command. "We're going to make you feel so good." I obeyed, my heart pounding with anticipation as I sank onto the soft mattress. My body thrummed with a need so intense it bordered on pain. They surrounded me with their hands and lips, everywhere a symphony of touch and sensation. It was an overload there combined, making my head spin, my body aches with a desperate yearning. One of them kissed me deeply with his hand, tangling in my hair, his body pressed against mine. Another trail of kisses down my neck and chest while the third man's hands danced over my legs, his touch a slow, torturous exploration. I was lost in the moment, consumed by the symphony of sensations, my body responding to their every touch. I never wanted it to end. Aiden's voice cut through the haze of pleasure. His words were soft yet filled with emotion. "You're incredible, Amelia," he whispered. "I love seeing you like this," was his approval. His desire intensified, the experience making it even more thrilling. I wanted to please him, to give him what he craved, and knowing he was watching, and enjoying every moment pushed the pleasure to unbearable heights. The man at my side leaned down to kiss me. Again, his lips soft and warm against mine. "You're so beautiful," he murmured. Between kisses, his voice thick with desire. "I want to make you feel even better," and just when I thought I couldn't take any more, just when I thought the pleasure had reached its peak, they pushed me over the edge, sending me spiraling into a world of pure bliss. My body trembled, and my breath hitched, and I surrendered completely to the overwhelming sensations, lost in a vortex of pure, unadulterated pleasure. It was more than I had ever anticipated and more than I could have ever dreamed. As the intensity subsided, I lay there breathless and spent, enveloped in the warmth of the three men who had shown me a world of ecstasy I never knew existed. Their touches softened, becoming gentle caresses as we all came down from the heights of passion. My mind reeled, but a deep sense of satisfaction settled over me, fulfillment that resonated in the quiet aftermath. It wasn't just the physical pleasure. It was the emotional connection, the feeling of being desired so completely and knowing that Aiden had shared in this experience, that he had wanted this for me as much as I had. Glanced at him, and the look of pride and love in his eyes was all the confirmation I needed. He moved closer, his hand gently caressing my face as he leaned down to kiss me. Softly, "You were amazing, Amelia," whispered, his voice filled with emotion. "I knew this would be unforgettable, but you were more than I ever dreamed." His words filled me with a profound sense of love and gratitude. As I lay there surrounded by these men and the man I loved, I realized that this experience had transcended mere fantasy. It was about trust, about surrendering completely, knowing that I was cherished and adored. We had ventured into the unknown together, and it had only strengthened our bond.